Welcome to the Women's National League Wrap for Series 16. Delighted to be joined with Méabh and Alanna this week. I'll just start off with the Peamount versus Shelburne game. It's always a great game between these two sides, fierce rivals. Shells came away with the victory 4-0. I don't know if many people were kind of expecting that scoreline. Abby Larkin came on the second half and got her hat-trick. I thought it was kind of like an interesting one as well, because although Shells, they were very strong throughout the game, it kind of felt like Peamount were going to get the equaliser, and then Larkin came on and made sure that that wasn't the case. Alanna, what did you kind of make of that game and Abby's performance when she came on?
Yeah, I think I'd have to back all that up. I'd say maybe if people would have expected the result given recent form, they wouldn't have expected the margin of it, especially, as I say, at halftime when things were kind of tight. It was just completely changed game then in the second half. And considering Abby Larkin only came on in the 66th minute to grab a hat-trick in 11 minutes, it's just phenomenal. But yeah, I think as well it was a real statement from Shells, given, they've lost Jessu, Chloe Musaki, Saoirse Noonan as of late. They're kind of would have been expected maybe to be a bit down in form, but they weren't at all. And it was just a real statement, I think, to show that they constantly have this conveyor belt of new talent coming through while they are still losing some of their big names, and that's bound to happen, I guess. But yeah, Abby Larkin, the star of the show once again, she's having a ball of a time recently, given that first competitive start and goal for Ireland in the women's national team there against Georgia, and now carrying that form into Shells. I don't think you could expect much better from her, and considering she's so young as well, it'll only go up and up for them. I can't understand why P's stuck to the high line though. Her pace absolutely just rinses everyone, so maybe that was something to look at. But yeah, she added on to Stapleton's earlier goal, who feels like we're raving about every week at this stage.
Yeah, I thought Jessie was great in the centre of the park as well. I'm sure, look, she got a goal as well, the first one from the penalty spot. Moving on now, Galway, they got the 5-1 win over Cork. Yeah, really good performance by the Galway side. A game where set pieces came in handy for Galway, and they used them to their advantage as well. Méabh, was there any player in that game that stood out to you?
Yeah, like I said, like Alanna was saying, there was 3 quick goals at the end of the Peas Shell game. But obviously in this game there was 3 really early goals inside the first 8 minutes, and Galway had started really well. I think Chloe Singleton set the tone because she dispossessed Cork from the kickoff, and then that led to a corner which led to the first goal. And like you're saying there, the set piece training must be paying off, I'd say, for Galway, because 3 goals from corners in the first 8 minutes is very unusual to see. But obviously the second half then as well was a lively start. Another 3 goals in the first few minutes, and Lindsay got the 2 for Galway in that case, but both Julianne and Chloe were setting them up for her. But I think they did well I suppose they were down to 10 men for the last half an hour, so they did well to hold out. But as you're asking there, in terms of the players, I think already mentioned, I suppose Chloe definitely stood out. Her determination and kind of running at the Cork defence caused a lot of problems. And then, of course, there's the golden oldies, as we call them. Julianne is her usual brilliant self. She was hardworking defensively, and she's just so effective with her dribbling and her attacking play. So she did really well. And then a special mention, of course, would have to go to Lindsay McKee with her 2 goals and 2 assists, and she's now scored in each of the seasons in the WNL, so since it was established, so that's a great achievement for her.
Yeah, it was a great overall performance from Galway, and no doubt that they'll have confidence now coming into the next couple of games. A tough game now between DLR Waves and Wexford Youths. It ended scoreless at the Bowl. Alanna, I suppose, do you think both sides maybe were happy to get a point considering how the game kind of went?
I'd say so, probably in the end, Emma. Given the 2 keepers had great games, I think that says a lot about what type of game it was. So maybe a fair result in the end, as I say, they expect the points. I guess it's another winning result for Shells, who weren't even playing in that one, because they don't want Wexford nipping at their heels coming into the back end of the season, and those kind of results will only kind of aid them going into the supremacy there at the top of the table. I suppose other talking points would be like tough conditions with the heat as well, and the water breaks coming in, maybe that kind of disrupt the flow of the game a little bit, but to be expected in that, as I say, tough conditions. and in the same breath, the same for both sides. So yeah, I'm sure they'll kind of both have been slightly disappointed, but maybe a fair result in the end that they split the points. And I'm sure they're like ready to go again to have another crack at each other in the FAI Cup in the next few weeks.
Yeah, it was a good kind of preview to see for the cup games coming up now in a few weeks. Athlone, they managed to get the late winner against Sligo Rovers. You know, the game finished 2-1. A really, really entertaining game. Sligo may be disappointed not to get anything out of that one, but in terms of Athlone, you know, their performances this season have been so impressive, and you know, this win puts them second in the table, which I'm sure not many people really saw coming. Méabh, what do you put their great form and performances down to?
Yeah, like you said initially, I suppose there that Sligo definitely have to be disappointed not to get something out of the game. You know, they did start well and they were up early on. They went ahead, but then Athlone obviously equalised after about 20 minutes. But in the Sligo as well had to make 2 changes in the first half, so they're kind of up against it. But obviously Athlone's good form, like you said, they finished it off with the winner at 5 minutes to go. But there are 2 teams really, I suppose, that have been surprising us, because a lot of people forget that it's Sligo's first year in the league, and many people would have tipped them to finish bottom of the table, and you know, in an 8th place at the moment, they're doing well. But yeah, like I said, Athlone's form and their performances are incredible, really. I suppose we can't overlook Corbett. She has 15 goals in 15 games that she's played, so that's incredible statistic, really. Like, and again, one that I suppose a lot of people mightn't have expected either. And you know, there's the likes of Malloy, who obviously is from Sligo, so that kind of created a bit of I suppose extra intensity in the game. And Keenan as well can chip in with goals. So I think, I suppose what it's down to, I don't know, we can see a lot of kind of feistiness within the Athlone team, which is a good thing, really. Like, you can see they're very determined and competitive in each game they play, and they're definitely playing with a lot of confidence. And why wouldn't they be, like you said, in 2nd place in the league? And they'll be hoping to continue that form right through to the end of the season.
Yeah, and you know, they take the trip to Talca at the weekend to play Shell's first place. I'm sure that's going to be a cracking game. Finally, Bohemians, they beat Treaty United 3-0. Chloe Darby, Rebecca Cook, Aoife Robinson got the goals. Three wins in a row for Bows. You know, they're really in fine form at the moment. Alanna, now with Rachel Doyle and Niamh Pryor kind of joining up with the squad from DLR, do you think Bows are a team on the rise? Do you think they're a team to look out for?
Yeah, it's weird to see them in the red as opposed to the sky blue. Yeah, I don't think you can dispute that at all, Em. I think they are kind of going from strength to strength. We've seen what that bit of confidence can do to a squad, and with Athlone, as Méabh mentioned, you know, when you get a few wins on the bounce, it kind of builds the momentum and the confidence too, to kind of take chances maybe they wouldn't have had they not been on that run of form. And I'm sure, look, they'll look to continue that this weekend, and who knows, maybe they'll cause an upset against Wexford. But yeah, as you say, I think bringing those 2 girls in, it's always kind of a massive problem that we've highlighted maybe a few times this season, with especially Doyle. You know, they kind of needed that person to drive the ball forward and get them into those kind of advantageous positions that maybe isn't your right backs or your centre backs, although they've been phenomenal too. And yeah, they just came off on the day there. Chloe Darby, Rebecca Cook and Aoife Robinson with the goals.
Yeah, it was a great performance by Bows, and I'm kind of happy to see them really kind of do well this season. I think last season maybe some of the results, they were kind of disappointed with them, but I think Rachel Doyle especially is going to bring something special to them. Well, thanks so much for joining me today, guys, and make sure to tune in to this weekend's action in the WNL.